And my problem with it for so long was when I felt it, it felt heavy. It felt heavier than what I was interacting with TF 1000s and the Solution ball.
Yes.
The weight. We're back. We're back in studio. I'm excited for this episode because we had our conversation around which basketballs we like best.
Yep.
And we felt that there could be some discrepancies in size, weight. And so for the viewers and for our own personal sanity, we've measured them.
We're about to break the internet right here.
And I haven't shown you the results yet. So you're kind of reacting to this, on the spot.
I don't want to ruin the episode, but I do want to say that we took a yardstick from one basketball on an even table to the other basketball, and it was not even close.
Yes. Now, before we get into all of these basketballs and the weights and everything, we have a giveaway for those who are watching. And it's very simple. The rules are this. Step 1, if you subscribe to this YouTube channel and you comment below with your favorite basketball that we're about to talk about, you're going to get entered into this giveaway for your choice of any of these basketballs that are available now. Step number 2, you have to follow us on Instagram, and similar concept, comment on Instagram. If you want a bonus entry, you can follow us on TikTok and comment on TikTok. So leave your comments, make sure you're following us, and then whoever wins this giveaway, we will give you a basketball. So I wanted to start with a surprise for you and the ball that we're going to use as our baseline, because this was not on the last episode.
Drum roll.
This is the official NBA basketball.
Oh, man.
Wilson's version. It's brand new, so it hasn't been broken in yet. Perfect. So the official Wilson NBA game ball, when it first comes out, it is not a pleasant ball to hold. It's pretty hard.
We've discussed that a little bit. It's pretty hard. It would cut up your hands for sure if you were just going out and playing a lot with that. That's you can tell it's quality leather, though.
Yeah. There's a whole break-in process. And then from what I understand, they said in the NBA they'll play with these for like 6 months before they introduce them into the rotation for a game ball.
It's a great basketball.
All right, so here are the measurements. The Wilson NBA ball comes in at 29.74 inches using the tape measure.
The official NBA ball.
The official. And 29.5 is what everybody says. So that's a 1/4 inch, though, where I don't know if my tape measure's off by a 1/4 inch. So it feels like it might be a little bit bigger than the 29.5 standard size of what everyone talks about. But the other ones, we'll get into that as well. The weight comes in at 582.6 grams. So that's kind of the standard that I think we're going to base this off of.
I think we have to, right? Just for the viewers that are wondering what this basketball is, it retails at about $200. It's what's used in NBA games and in NBA facilities all throughout the country and obviously in Canada as well.
And that's it, right? Like that's the only people that are playing with this. So 1% of the population is playing with this ball. So most of the viewers aren't going to be dealing with this. And I wouldn't even recommend they play with this ball because it is different than what we're going to show here.
But if you're going to make, Wilson making their crown jewel product, it's this one right here.
Yep. All right, next ball for you. This one is more of a standard across the NCAA and high school sports.
All right.
So we have the Wilson NXT EVO, or EVO NXT. That one comes in at 582 grams, 582.1 grams. So it is a 0.5 gram lighter than the official ball.
That's a tight discrepancy. That's really close. Yeah.
And for those who want to what was our methodology here, we inflated all of these balls to 7 PSI, which is the recommended amount, using the electronic pump that we are now both fans of. Thanks for introducing me to that.
Learning how to use it better.
It is also 29.74 inches in circumference.
It's a little bit bigger.
Exact same. Bigger,
yes.
Bigger than the 29.5. Exact same as the official NBA game ball.
That basketball did itself no disservice in weight and circumference measurement.
Next, we're going to talk about the Spalding TF 1000 Legacy.
Both of our favorites.
Oof.
Again, this is the replacement to the TF 1000 ball that both Erik and I used in high school that we love.
We love and adore. I do have some insider information here. So this morning I played with a guy who plays in a JUCO, and this is the official ball of their conference, and he despises this ball like us.
Hopefully that JUCO sees this episode and they make significant changes immediately.
All right, the Spalding TF 1000 Legacy comes in at 584.7 grams, 2 grams heavier than the official ball, 29.73 inches, so 0.01 inches smaller, which I think, again, with our margin of error with the tape measure we're using, we'll say that that's okay. So size is okay, a little just fractionally heavier, but the grip on the ball, we just want to throw this in the trash.
And you just did.
So circumference-wise, we're all pretty close, right? Which is comforting, I think, that you're not using a bigger basketball.
Very close on the circumference. You're absolutely right. Clearly, though, with different materials, I don't think the air pressure has anything to do with it. I think it's the build of the basketballs. As you might remember, the Evolution ball that was my original favorite and you didn't like.
Oh, we're getting to that one.
Well, let's bring it up.
Because we've had a pretty tight dispersion here, but we got some balls here that are going to throw some things off. Here's a new one to the conversation. You want to give that one a feel?
This is the one, I think we just made mention of it before, but I've seen different colleges, and we've talked about this, different colleges, like BYU I've seen, for instance, at practice and also probably at home games, but using the Nike Elite.
I'll have to check as well. I think Duke I've seen use this ball.
Would that mean that the league ball is the EVO NXT, but they just use that because...
We'll have to do some research on that because I don't know if each college gets to choose its ball or, like our friend said, the conference has established that as the game ball. So maybe in certain conferences they establish one, but I know the NCAA tournament goes to the EVO NXT.
Which, not that it matters, but probably the ball of all of these that's grown on me the most since we first started discussing
because you got to feel a broken-in one, and it's a different experience.
It's a different experience, and it just feels like they've improved on technology from the Evolution.
Yeah.
So back to the Nike Elite.
Nike Elite Championship weighs 592.1 grams, so about 10 grams heavier than the official NBA ball.
That swoosh, Erik, that swoosh isn't light.
Exactly 10 grams heavier than the Wilson EVO NXT. So if you're playing in college or high school and you're used to the EVO NXT and then you make a switch to this, that's a 10-gram difference. Will you feel that? I don't know, but there is a weight difference.
I think 10 grams is a lot.
Yeah.
That's a nice basketball, though. Good cover on it.
I really like this ball.
Yeah.
If it was more popular in the pickup games around
Agreed.
here, I'd be totally for playing with this one. It's just not super popular.
Totally agree. Yeah.
Next ball is another new contender.
For those of you wondering, let me just tell you something. We've basically drained our 401ks to bring this
to purchase
every
basketball.
To bring this basketball weight and circumference test to you here today. Wow.
This is the Baden or Baden. I always pronounce it wrong, so I say both. Elite Pro. This is their signature basketball. There you go.
That's a nice basketball. I have to tell you, they're doing some targeted ads because since we've discussed this, I've been getting ads all over my social media to personalize my own.
That is awesome. We probably should have got this personalized. This one comes in at 585.9 grams, about a little over 3 grams heavier than the official NBA game ball and the EVO NXT.
Such a small thing that I'll share here, but a little bit different design on the channels.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell here versus some of the Wilson and also the Spalding basketballs. Just a little bit different design on how those channels meet the equator of the ball.
It's kind of a wider. I don't know if the camera can pick this up. This one here, it's kind of wider here versus. I mean, like this is Nike, so it's a little bit more tight and narrow as you're getting to the intersection of all of these.
That's exactly right.
Same with all the other balls; they're all a little bit tighter than what this is. But this one is played in certain colleges. I've seen this a lot in kind of like D2 colleges or kind of smaller colleges for whatever reason. But this is a popular ball. And the circumference is 29.64 inches, so about a tenth of an inch smaller than our standard.
And the weight was?
The weight was about 3 grams heavier.
That's right. Okay.
A little bit smaller, a little bit heavier. All right, the last one on our list.
Your favorite.
The one that causes the most contention in our relationship.
It's okay. I'm evolving.
We have the Wilson Evolution. A very popular ball around the courts of the United States, indoor courts. I think one reason is that it is a little bit less expensive than Wilson's top-tier balls like the EVO NXT.
Yeah.
And it's got a unique feel to it.
And here's the thing: before the EVO NXT came out, the Evolution was kind of the first of its kind. I mean, that different cover on it, and I mean, just a really good-looking basketball. But you're right; it's taken a step down in the lineup.
And my problem with it for so long was when I felt it, it felt heavy. It felt heavier than what I was interacting with TF 1000s and the Solution ball.
Yes.
I'm going to do the circumference first and leave the big dramatic weight here.
Should I do a drum roll over here?
29.66 inches in circumference, which is, I mean, it's close. I'm not too worried about the circumference. It's a little bit smaller than the standard. The weight, 607.5 grams.
So right on with the others.
It is 25 grams heavier than the Wilson NBA ball and the EVO NXT.
That's amazing. I mean, Erik, you know I'm pulling your leg here, but I mean they have to pack that soft, cushy goodness into that basketball, but it is not even close to the others.
And I own 2 of these. I own 6 of the EVO NXTs. So I weighed all of them, and they were all within a margin of error of close to each other. And same with the 2 Evolutions that I have. So they are significantly heavier. I'm just glad that my sanity check is in place, that it definitely feels heavier. And you're a golfer.
Yeah.
So I brought these. This is with my Mizuno putter.
I know exactly what those are. And it's important, too, that we share, you know, you might hear, oh, it's 3 grams off, a gram's equivalent to a dollar bill. I mean, that type of conversation is always had. But I've got to tell you, I mean, some of those basketballs that are 10 grams heavier, 10 grams, no doubt, would be noticeable. This, 25 or more, absolutely noticeable.
Absolutely. I've got 2. These are 13-gram weights that would go into my putter if I wanted to weight it different. So it's 26, but I wanted to give you a feeling of 26-gram difference.
It's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of weight.
And you throw that in one hand. I mean, that's a big difference. So again, like I think if somebody is looking to purchase a ball, if you're used to this, if this is what everybody is playing with, go ahead. High schools, from what I'm aware, aren't using this. They're using the EVO NXT, a lot of them. And now if you're transitioning from the EVO NXT to the Evolution, you're going to feel a weight difference, which could throw off your shot. If you're a three-point shooter, that's a big deal.
That's a huge deal. And what I've thought about since we started talking about these, and again, we're not sponsored by Wilson. We're not sponsored by any of these basketball manufacturers.
Not that we're opposed to being.
I'll tell you which one I'd like to be sponsored by. No. But I've just thought about this more and come to the realization you need to know what the game ball is for your high school, or if you're playing at a Division I level, or your conference basketball like we've discussed, because, you know, 25, 26 grams difference in a basketball, I don't know how you adjust on the fly like that. It's too much.
Right.
I'm practicing, I'm shooting hundreds of shots a day, and then I show up to a game, and all of a sudden, I am supposed to be that same athlete and make the same percentage of shots. It's not going to happen if the basketball is that different. You need to be practicing with the basketball you're going to be playing with in a game.
And that was my argument with this of transitioning over to this in pickup games or whatever, is when I let go of that ball, I would feel like that's money, and then I'd airball it or it'd be short. Yeah. Or I'd let go of it and be like, oh, that's gonna brick off the backboard and it'd be right in the middle. So I never felt comfortable as that left my hand of, I don't know where this ball is going.
And it's validated. Yeah. It's validated. For me, though, they all feel the same when I dunk them. I'm just kidding. Come on. I can touch the net.
I was in the store looking at some of these other balls, and Spalding has another version of the TF 1000. And I'm spacing on it. I'll put some text up here and a picture of it. It felt so much more similar to what we've been talking about. So the Wilson Evolution, it felt very similar to like the Baden, very similar to the Nike.
Did you say baddie?
Baddies.
I have kids.
So it felt much different than the Legacy, and it was cheaper. So they've got a version of a ball that feels more in line with these other kind of more competitive, more popular basketballs.
For those that missed our first episode on basketballs, Spalding really lost the market on it. They're in a spiral.
That was a faux pas.
Yeah.
All right, we have a question from the internet that we need to have both of us answer.
That's great.
It's actually kind of a 2-part question.
That's great.
Anybody watching, you can always ask questions. This question is, what is the lowest round of golf that you have shot? And then what is your highest point total in a basketball game?
Awesome, yeah.
So
Should I go first?
You're the golfer, so I'm going to let you tackle golf first.
Well,
You can tackle both first.
I love golf because when I'm playing in a golf tournament, it's different because it's just me against me, right? But there's other competitors that have other scores. But I mean, always you have your personal record, and I know you have a personal record too on points in a game. But in golf, my lowest score was with some of my good friends. Shout out Austin Lewis, Kyle Palmer. Can't remember if Brady Olson was there or Pack, but it was at Bonneville Golf Course in Salt Lake City. And usually I think when people have their best rounds of golf, it's because they putt well, and it was the same for me. I had a good day putting, but I shot 66. It was awesome. Am I doing lowest or best in basketball?
Yeah, highest score. This is from Jason McGuire, by the way.
Shout out Jason McGuire. Thanks for the question. 34 points for me in basketball, and it was a good shooting day, which I'm sure is going to be overshadowed here with the man, but anyways, those are some good memories.
Well, your golf score obliterates mine. I like
Too high?
golf, but I'm not a good golfer.
It's all in the putting.
The story behind that is I took a summer and I was like, I want to shoot a 76. Worked all summer with a buddy of mine who's a very good golfer, helped me understand how to score better. And my default in golf, and I golfed this last weekend, my default is off the first tee. It doesn't matter how wide or narrow that fairway is. Doesn't matter if it's a par 4, 5, 3, whatever. My first shot is gone. It's going to get a penalty stroke. It's going to be gone. So we need to take 2 off the tee for Erik. And then shot number 2 is money. So golfer B, as I refer to him as.
I love golfer B.
Golfer B is fantastic. But there was a day where I was like, okay, we're going to treat this for realsies. I shot a 75. It was a big moment for me.
That's really good golf.
And other than that, I'm usually in the 80s somewhere.
It takes a level of mental strength too when you start to get low, because you're competing against par, right? Mm-hmm. And I know we've talked about this offline, but the first time I shot par, it was mentally tough.
It's exhausting.
So it is, and you don't know if you can do it, and it's this imaginary number. And anyways, it's just absolutely. How about your personal record on the
This
hardwood?
has a story as well. Okay, so we played in a league after high school. At the time, it's East Mill Creek, and it was a league where you had a lot of former college players that would come back and play in this highly competitive league. And so I played in a season. The team that I was with, they all knew me. We were kind of high school buddies. We knew each other. And then one of them brought in a friend who was not one of us. And I think I don't even remember his name, but I think he played at Snow College.
Okay. Good player then.
And he was a little bit frustrated with the fact that on that team, I was kind of the alpha. So if there was something going on, the ball came back to me, and I was kind of ball dominant on that team. He didn't particularly like that. So he decided to enter the transfer protocol and portal, and he went to a different team that we played in that league. And so before the game even starts, he already doesn't like me very much. He points out, I've got Erik. He wants to guard me. And I had a very good game. And so that game I ended up, I think it was 14 threes. I ended up with 56 points. So that's my highest game.
I mean, I feel like we need to take a moment of silence or reverence. That's incredible. That's awesome.
What makes it weird is that, and anybody who's played with me in the past, I think will attest to this. I'm not a ball hog. I'm not like a volume shooter. I was more of an efficient shooter. And so that was one where just the team was like, you go ahead, do what you need to do. Because usually in games, I can score whatever, 20 to 30, but there's a lot of assists. There's a lot of stuff going on. I don't like to shoot over and over again.
I want to add that my personal best in basketball is not against the same level of competition, but I will say this. Those that don't know how good of a shooter Erik with a K is, he is a dang good shooter, and I believe it. And if anyone wants to go 2-on-2 against us, he's on my team, all right? And I will be the leader in assists. So
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, and we put out a poll on Instagram as well as TikTok, and a lot of people had opinions about that. We had people saying that each one of these was their favorite, and so just curious to hear from everybody else what their favorite is. And I think it tells a little bit about how old you are.
Yes, definitely.
I think it tells about where you play. So we had some people commenting on like the FIBA ball, and I think that's a lot more popular in Europe. So if we have viewers who are watching in Europe, Canada, other places, that FIBA ball from Molten, I believe.
Also a different channel design too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to hear from people what they think their favorite basketball is. But that's all we got for now. Our next episode, we're going to be talking about the recent state tournament for 5A and 6A in Utah, because that is completed. So we will see you guys over there.